Hello and welcome to Adobe Illustrator CC 2021 Classroom Book Chapter 6, which is all about using the basic drawing tools. So in this one, we're really going to focus on using the pencil and curvature tools to create some artwork to create these logos. So let's go ahead and come into Illustrator and let's do a file and open. Go ahead to your lesson folder. We're on lesson number 6 now. So let's go to lesson 6. And go ahead and grab that start file. Let's do a file and a save as. First initial last name, underscore Adobe Illustrator, Classroom in a Book, chapter number 6. I'm in my lesson 6 folder, and let's go ahead and say save, and we'll push OK. All right, let's go to our window in our workspace and reset our Essentials workspace. All right, so now we are good to go. So the first thing we're going to do is work on, let me show you the end one. Let me do a file open and show you the end. First thing we're going to work on is this logo with kind of the mountains and the stream and the horizon all together. So let's go ahead, go back over here. And we're going to go ahead and draw some paths with the curvature tool. We're going to draw that horizon first. So let's go ahead from our logo number 1. Let's go ahead and grab our pasteboard 1, get it in the frame for us. And let's go ahead, click the edge of the circle with our selection tool, and let's lock it so we can't actually accidentally move it. So let's go Object, come down to Lock. We want to lock the selection so we can't accidentally move it. Now we're going to go ahead and find the curvature tool, which is like a pen with a little string off of it. From there, we're going to go ahead and we want to make sure our fill is set to none. And our stroke is kind of a dark gray. Let's kind of pick this second from the black one. No, first from the black. Yep, first from black. And let's make our stroke weight is about 4 points, so it's exactly where we want it to be. So with the curvature tool, we're going to start a path by clicking and releasing to create anchor points, and then we're going to change the direction from there. So we're going to go ahead, click on the left edge to start our path. So this is going to be our horizon line. So I've got my start of my anchor to path. Now I'm going to go ahead and I want to go ahead and curve down. Why is nothing happening? Let's click and click again. All right, so let's try that again. So our first one is going to be a little bit straight. That's okay, because it's going to start curving as soon as we start adding more anchor points. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of add a little bit of an anchor point here so you can see the lines kind of gently rolling around. And let's go ahead and come up here, make it a little bit top of a mountain. Let's come down. And let's go ahead and curve that so we come up to, we'll make it a big curve, come up to the side. So we've got kind of a nice curve in our horizon. And let's go ahead and hit Object and Lock and Selection so it can't accidentally move our horizon line. Now we're going to go ahead and draw that river path. So we're going to draw the river. We're going to start at the horizon that we just made. So if we look, we just did this part. And now we're going to add the river. So I'm going to start my river down here. And I'm going to go ahead and might want to zoom in just a little bit so I can see a little bit more. Let's go ahead and click our pointer over. And as soon as we get that asterisk, we see that we're starting a new path. So I'm going to click and release. And it's not going to be perfect. And we're going to go ahead and kind of make it meander a little bit. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that one. So I'm going to go ahead and hit escape to make my river stop drawing. And now I'm going to go ahead and come down to do the other side. So you don't want to put your other path on top of where you started your other river, otherwise you'll not start a new path. So we want to start a brand new path. So let's make sure we do an escape. Let's do a select and a deselect to make sure we're starting a brand new path. So I'm going to start my brand new path. And let's go ahead and add the other side of the river. And make it kind of go more like that. All right, so I'm okay with that. If you're not totally perfect, it's all right. We can use the direct selection tool to fix it later on. So let's go ahead and escape to stop drawing. And now we're going to go ahead and edit those paths. So we're going to edit them, make them work a little bit better. So let's grab our curvature tool. Let's click on that first one we drew, and we can adjust those anchor points. So let's do a select and deselect, make sure we don't have anything chosen. Let's go ahead and come out to this path, to this anchor, and you can see I can grab my tool and I can adjust each of those separately. I'm going to do enter, and now I'm going to go ahead and click there. I'm going to select and deselect. I'm going to come over to this one, and I'm not super happy with how that looks, so let's go ahead and maybe give it another point. There we go. I like that much better. All right, and now I want to come down here and make that path come over just a little bit more into my sideways, and let's hit escape or control D to, or not control D, select and deselect, shift control A. All right, let's go ahead and grab that one. Oh, it's locked, so I can't. So I could unlock it and mess with it later, but for right now, I'm not going to do that. Okay, because I think we're going to play with it a little bit later on. All right, so if we do something we don't like, we can always go through and delete some of those points. So let's go ahead and unlock that one now. So let's go back to our object and unlock all. I'm going to go ahead and take my curvature tool and just make that a little bit longer so it goes in. And I can decide, hey, I don't really like to have this point in between right here. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to hit delete. And now I can go ahead and take this path and kind of make it just a little bit smoother. All right, I'm pretty happy with that now. So let's do our object and lock selection. Okay, so now I've got that exactly where I want it to be. So now we're going to go ahead and create some mountains behind our horizon. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll up just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and grab my curvature tool. So so far we've done a lot of straight paths. We can make corners as well. So let's go ahead and start on our path down here. We're going to make a mountain. Let's drag up, curve, or click up. Now we've got part of our mountain. Now, as soon as I go down to this mountain peak, you're going to see that you're making round mountains. So if I don't want to make round mountains, we can convert those to anchor points. So let's go ahead and click to make another point. And now we can go back over. If we double click on it, it's going to go ahead and make that a square corner for us. All right, so now we want to go ahead and we're going to come up from here. And you want to continue, we want to make our mountain a little bit taller. So let's go ahead and click that one and come down. You're going to say, but now it's not doing what you want it to do. We are going to go ahead and fix all of those at once. So let's go ahead and double click on all of these anchor points and fix those. And you can also do something else to make those anchor points into corners. So let's go ahead and hit, if you hit Alt or Option as you're making those, you'll make it into a corner point. So let's go ahead and Alt, Option, and make those into corner points as well. And I'm going to hit Escape to make sure it stops drawing. Although I do want to kind of pull that path in just a little bit because I don't like the way that stroke is looking on as it's combining down. Let's Control plus a little bit. And my space bar, move over. There we go. Much happier. Escape. Stop drawing. Control minus. Now I have some amazing mountains. I can decide I don't really like these mountains. I want to fix them a little bit. So let's go ahead and I'm going to grab my pointer. I want to make this one a little bit taller. So I'm going to click on that one. And you can change those mountain points just by changing them into the kind of the dark blue. And these are some pretty funky mountains. All right, pretty happy with my mountains. So let's escape to stop drawing. Let's do select and deselect. and make sure we've got everything turned off, and let's do a Control S to save. So the next thing we're going to do is create some dashed lines around our kind of a sunburst. So we're going to create this element that goes around. So let's go ahead with our selection tool and click this line over here to the left. And now we're going to go ahead and change the stroke into a dashed line. So we're going to come over here to stroke. We're going to hit the underlined word, and we're going to change a few things. So our weight is going to be 3 points. We want to preserve. We're going to make a dashed line, and we want to go ahead and make sure we preserve exact dash gap lengths. So that is the first button. The second one, aligns. So my first number I want to put in here is 35. I'm going to hit tab. My gap is going to be 4. Tab. I want my second dash to be 5. Tab. And my second gap to be 4. So that is exactly what I want. And now I'm going to go ahead and put enter. And that's perfect. It's going to make my dashed line. Now we're going to go ahead and make it a ray all the way around it. So we're going to grab the rotate tool in the toolbar. So depending, it's right under your text tool, rotate tool. And from there, we're going to go ahead and do an option click or an alt click to set a reference point. And we want to go ahead and set that right in the middle of our mountains. So I'm going to do my alt click right here, wherever it says center. And I'm going to say, and it's going to open that rotate box for me. We want to make sure preview is on. We want to change that angle to be -15. And let's do a tab. So it's going to go ahead and put that there for us. And we're going to say, go ahead and copy it. So now it's going to make another one. So we want to make 10 more copies. So we can do object, transform, and transform again. Or we can do Command D several times or Control D until we make our way pretty much all the way around our badge that we are making. So let's do Control S and save that one. All right, so we're nearly finished with this logo. Next thing we're going to do is take, and we need to get rid of part of the bottom of the badge, I guess. And let's go ahead and grab our rectangle tool. We're going to go ahead and grab a rectangle tool and draw a rectangle that covers the lower part. And it's going to go ahead and give us that dash stroke. We're not too worried. So I'm going to go ahead and have that there. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my selection tool. And I want to grab against the rectangle and circle only. So let's go ahead and make sure we grab these two. All right, so I've got my rectangle and circle only. Okay, now I want to go ahead and grab my shape builder tool over on my toolbar. It's about the middle. And I want to make sure that I am making part of this disappear. So I'm going to hit Option or Alt, and I'm going to drag across the bottom to make these areas disappear. So now I've got it as a flat part. I will want to go in with my direct selection on this path right here, kind of bring it up a little bit so it's not hanging out. And exit, escape. All right, next thing I'm going to do is grab my camp letters with my selection tool, bring those up. And I want to make sure it goes in the front. So I'm going to go ahead and do an arrange and a bring to front. So it's going to go ahead and hide part of those paths. I'm going to do a Control minus, and I can see that I've got my camp, depending on where it is. You can decide how you want it to lay out with your rivers and other items that you made. So it's up to you as to how you're going to play with that one. So that is all you need to do to create that first camp logo. I will see you in part 2.